Actually going to head into our next guest. It's Christy Montgomery, the Vice President of Innovation, Research, and Development with Kenco. Christy, I hope you can hear me over there. How are things going?
I can. It's going great, Sydney. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Now we're going to start a couple things off. I think Thomas has a couple questions for you, and we're going to tag along.
In the ground running, welcome to the show. Looking at purpose-driven logistics, purpose versus profit. Are you seeing a lot on your end? I know traditionally we always want to maximize profit, but is there getting a change in consumer behaviors and customer wants towards more?
It's a great question, Thomas. Yes, I think consumers are very much looking for purpose-driven brands as a whole, and a piece of that, of course, is their supply chain. And so they're looking to us to provide those things that relate to driving a purpose, a greater corporate social responsibility in the marketplace around their logistics and their organization.
I guess what might Kenco be doing to do those things?
So, Sydney, one of the things, obviously, with the pandemic, we're concerned about our employees' health, and so we've done some things around robotic sweeper scrubbers, so that we're making sure that our facilities are clean, and also not just clean, but reducing the manual labor required for janitorial staff to do that cleaning. So, and then allowing the robotic scrubbers to work throughout the night as our employees are not there, make sure when they come in they have a clean place to work, and they also are reducing some of the mundane routine work that maybe people don't so much enjoy as they have before. We've also put some all-electric transportation vehicles within our shuttles, trucks, so that we're not negatively impacting the environment. So we're looking at how do we service the green initiatives more so in our organization, and we're one of the top 75 green logistics providers in inbound logistics. So that's very important to us as an organization, but it's also very important to our customers. So those are a couple things that we're working on. We have some warehouse safety initiatives, again, making sure our employees go home in the same condition or better that they came to work in. How do we help augment their work and keep them safe, from our drivers in our trucks to making sure they're not drowsy or distracted while they're driving, to our lift truck drivers, making sure they have collision avoidance and route management as they navigate through the warehouse to be safe.
I like what you're talking about, especially with all-electric trucks. I got to ride in one of the day cab Nikola all-electric vehicles earlier, Covenant, and the craziest thing they told me was that as soon as other customers found out, that I had no idea there was this big push for, green. They were like, I don't know how it works, just get it over here and we'll figure out the rest. With your deployment of these electrical vehicles, all electric shuttles as well as, transportation, have you seen anything from customers saying, it's a game changer, let's just make it work? Has there been anything like feedback you've received?
Yeah, so we had one customer that was part of their table stakes to come and be their provider. They wanted electric vehicles in their shuttle freight. That was very important to them because they are a green company. They're a provider of oat milk, and I won't say the brand, but you can imagine they are very concerned about the environment and how we as industry, not only logistics, but all industry, is impacting the environment for future generations. And so when we bid on the business, that was part of what they wanted as we came to the table. They said, listen, we have to have this as part of, if you're going to be our provider, you've got to provide electric trucks. So it was a big deal for them.
And if a company comes to you, as they did, and said, hey, we want these electric trucks, is it easy for you to get them exactly what they need if other companies came forward and said the same thing?
Not easy. Lead times right now are significant, as you can imagine. So, but certainly something that we have had our eye on for a while. And, the VP of Sustainability at Covenant and I are really good friends. And so we keep tabs on each other and where we're finding opportunities and how we can help each other sometimes in this marketplace. So.
That's one thing I really like, especially collaborative when we're talking about green energy. That's one thing I hadn't personally considered, even from a carrier side, that nowadays, and from what you're telling me and other people, that there's a potential for trucking that used to be heavily polluted, only focused on margins, that you can be a part of this sustainability process. And Kenco having all the opportunity, what do you think on maybe the future deployment? Is the goal to scale up, or is it to test it first? Or what are some of the things that you all hope to do as you invest in these green initiatives?
I think it's a lot of testing. We want to be sure when we go to our customers with a solution that we're confident in the solution, and also that we know exactly where it fits within our customers' network. So we do a lot of testing ahead of time. And part of the struggle, honestly, with electric trucks and electric tractor trailers has been just the charging stations within, they're extremely expensive, and they take up a lot of space. So we've been in talks with a couple of the different carrier groups here in Chattanooga. How do we partner together and collaborate as a group, as an industry, to provide a shared resource around the charging of those vehicles? So, but realistically, I think we have a lot of testing yet to do as an industry. These are not necessarily proven technologies quite yet. A lot of hype around them, a lot of really good things going on, but we want to make sure we don't take something to our customers that's not really going to benefit them in the long run.
That collaboration, that partnership that you're talking about, it seems to be something that is so important, especially today. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I think our customers expect that. A lot of our customers have multiple providers, multiple carriers, and they want to see that we all have their best interests at heart, as well as, how are we providing for the consumer that's coming to us for service, and how are we providing for future generations around sustainability.
One of the ones I thought was really interesting was the use of, I think they're called Vecna robotic tuggers. And so using it and, supporting optimizing and warehouse automation. How cool or how important is it in terms of existing or newer warehouses? Can you plug these robotic tuggers in any location, or does the warehouse have to be specifically set up to accommodate these kinds of changes?
That's a great question, Thomas. So it is, there does have to be a little bit of configuration, just from they have to be able to navigate, there have to be wide enough aisles and that type of thing. But we've been able to retrofit most of our existing buildings. And I think the key with these solutions is really, when you think about a very large distribution center, like let's say 1 million square feet, being able to reduce the amount of time that lift truck drivers have to just navigate back and forth across the length of that building is really important. That's a lot of wasted time for them. That's a lot of just mundane, not fun work, quite frankly. And so if we can allow these robotic tuggers to move 8 pallets at a time across the warehouse versus a lift truck driver being able to move 1 or 2, now I've cut out 4 trips for him, or maybe even 8 trips for him. And so it really gives them, a better ability to do the work that they do well, which is grabbing the product, and the tuggers do the running back and forth in the shuttles. Very similar to a small autonomous mobile robot that you would see in e-commerce that moves the product back and forth across the warehouse, and the picker stays in their zone and picks. Same thing with the larger devices like tuggers. So. And they are, they have come a long way, and so they're much more plug and play than they were in the past.
We were looking up videos of that tugger before the show, and so we were geeking out on it. We thought they were pretty cool.
I think that's super interesting, especially moving 8 pallets versus 1 or 2. Not only will it speed up your operation, but the drivers who are waiting at the end of the dock are now able to, because the difference between a well-run warehouse and a poorly run warehouse, say that 10 times still fast, is going to be how quickly can you get loaded and unloaded. Have you gotten any feedback from drivers or other staff with the deployment of this? Has it helped kind of make life easier on everyone?
It has made life easier on everyone, and just having some consistency around knowing that when that tugger arrives, I'm going to have quite a bit of work to offload that tugger, instead of it being a little bit inconsistent as to when the lift truck driver is going to show up at the dock with the product. So it's been a real win for our folks in the facility, as well as our customers, and even truck drivers being able to turn their trucks faster as we're doing live loading and unloading of product.
Talking about those tuggers and talking about a couple other of Kenco's investments, anything else you'd like to touch on while we're here? Maybe these sweepers and scrubbers, or anything more about the electric truck fleets?
So, Sydney, I'll call out one that we haven't talked about that's probably the most exciting thing from an innovation person that I'm working on, and it's a product called Phantom Auto that won the Innovation of the Year award this year from the Material Handling Institute. And talk about purpose-driven logistics. So these guys are providing remote control lift truck driving capability to people who are unable to work in a warehouse environment. So think about your wounded warriors, think about your disabled workforce, think about folks who live in an area where it's a depressed from an industrial perspective and they don't want to leave their hometown, but now they're able to work in a warehouse in California or in New Jersey. We're really excited about this technology and what it's going to bring to the workforce of tomorrow. Think about all these millennials coming out of college that are able to do Grand Theft Auto like nobody's business, and now they can drive a lift truck in a warehouse and be excited about that instead of kind of going, moving boxes inside a warehouse. That's not very fun. But this technology is going to allow them to have fun and still do a great job in the logistics space. So I'm really excited about that tech.
Well, we're really looking forward to it. Christy, thank you so much for coming on the show, and always we'll keep an eye out on further developments as well.
Thanks, Thomas and Sydney, for having me. I enjoyed it.